In the silent corners of the modern mind, a question persists. Why does power often feel hollow? And why does control fail to provide peace? Men today find themselves entangled in pursuits that once promised meaning, but now echo with emptiness. What used to be ambition has turned into performance, and what was once desire has decayed into obligation. This is not just a crisis of purpose, it's a crisis of self. From a young age, men are taught to conquer the world, to rise above, to lead. But few are taught how to remain whole while doing so. The external triumph often comes at the cost of internal disintegration. Strength without soul, success without silence, leaves the modern man burnt out, misunderstood, and deeply alone. In the pursuit of power, something subtle is lost. The ability to feel, not just emotions, but presence. The modern man, always in motion, loses touch with the ground beneath his feet. He no longer hears his breath, nor feels the moment. And when the noise stops, when the screen dims, he is left with a stranger in the mirror. This is not weakness. This is misalignment. Society has rewarded dominance, but punished reflection. And in doing so, it has produced men who are externally functional, but internally fragmented. They know how to build empires, but not how to sit with sorrow. They know how to chase, but not how to be still. What makes this tragedy even deeper is the illusion of fulfillment. Luxury, status, validation. These are often masks worn by the deeply unfulfilled. Behind the curated lives is a silent plea. Do I still matter when I am not admired? And the answer, though uncomfortable, is the path forward. Men must unlearn. They must forget the noise of comparison and remember the rhythm of solitude. It is in solitude, not noise, where the soul reshapes itself. Jung said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." Yet we live in a world addicted to dreams. Scrollable, streamable, consumable dreams. Waking up requires a death, the death of the ego built for others. And this is terrifying, because so much of a man's identity is shaped by external measurement, salary, body, attention. To walk away from that is to walk into darkness. But it's the only road that leads to truth. Women, too, play a role in this dynamic, not as villains, but as mirrors. A woman often reflects not who a man is, but who he tries to be. In her gaze, he finds the version of himself he thinks is lovable. And when that version is no longer sustainable, the relationship collapses, not because of her, but because of the lie he built. True connection begins when a man no longer needs to be seen a certain way. When he can sit in his rawness, unshaven, uncertain, undone, and still feel worthy. This kind of man is rare because he has walked through the fire of being misunderstood and did not run. There is strength in softness, not weakness, but a power that is quiet, steady, and rooted. A man who has wept is often stronger than a man who has won, because tears wash away delusion. They remind him that life is not about performance, it's about presence. The modern world encourages speed, but truth requires stillness. You cannot hear your soul when your calendar is full. You cannot know your worth when your worth is outsourced. And you cannot love when you are terrified of being seen. Men today are in spiritual exile. They live among people but feel alone. They speak often, but rarely say anything. Their hearts are filled with content, but starved of connection. This isn't just loneliness. It's starvation in a feast of distraction. The cure is not found in more noise, but in courageous silence. In turning off the world and turning toward the self. In asking hard questions like, what do I truly want? What am I pretending to enjoy? Who am I when no one is watching? Answering these questions means facing pain. But pain is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Pain is honest. It reveals where we've lied to ourselves, where we've abandoned ourselves, and only by walking through it can we reclaim what was lost. Many men try to fix themselves by fixing their image. They get fitter, richer, louder. But healing doesn't happen in the mirror. It happens in the silence behind it. You can't fix your soul with makeup and muscles. You have to go deeper. Real masculinity is not dominance. It is integration. It is the fusion of fire and calm, of logic and feeling. It is the man who can protect and provide, but also pause and ponder. The man who is feared not for his fists, but for his stillness. Women sense this kind of man. He is not loud, but he is clear. He doesn't beg for love, because he is rooted in self-love. And in a world full of performers, his presence is arresting. He makes others question who they are pretending to be. But becoming him requires solitude, not loneliness, but chosen solitude. The kind of solitude where a man is not escaping others, but returning to himself. In this space, he remembers. He remembers the boy before the world told him to be a machine. This remembrance is powerful because it reconnects him with what is real. Laughter without agenda, tears without shame, strength without noise. And from this space, he rebuilds. Not a life that looks good, but a life that feels true. So many men are waiting for permission to rest, to cry, to slow down. They are waiting for the world to say, "It's okay to be human." But the world won't say it. You have to say it to yourself. You have to be brave enough to be human in a world of machines. Healing begins the moment you stop negotiating with your pain. Instead of distracting yourself from it, you sit with it. You watch it rise, burn, fade. You realize it wasn't trying to destroy you. It was trying to wake you up. Every ache is a message. There's something here you've ignored too long. In the quiet, you start to notice the subtle truths. The way you've been chasing approval like a drug. The way you shapeshift to be accepted. And how tired you are of all the masks. You begin to crave something raw. Something untouched by performance. You crave reality, even if it's ugly. Society tells men to be useful, but rarely to be whole. Your productivity is praised. Your exhaustion is ignored. You are given medals for endurance, but never asked what it's costing you. And over time, you forget that your value was never meant to be measured in output. There's a moment every man must face. When the applause dies down, the lights dim, and he's alone with his thoughts. In that silence, the question arises. Not, what have I done, but who have I become? That question is the threshold to transformation. True masculinity emerges when a man no longer performs it. When he lets go of the roles he was assigned and chooses who he wants to be. Not for society, not for validation, but for the peace that comes from knowing he's finally living from the inside out. Women are not drawn to men who try to be impressive. They are drawn to men who are real. A man who knows his own darkness and doesn't hide it. A man who can hold space for emotion without fear or shame. That man is magnetic because he's rare. You don't have to conquer the world to be whole. You have to know your own heart. You have to understand your wounds, not hide them. You have to see the child within you and treat him with compassion, not contempt. That is where your strength is born. A conscious man is not perfect. He is present. He listens more than he speaks. He touches without trying to take. He loves without controlling. And when he makes mistakes, he owns them. Not to be praised, but because truth matters more than ego. This is not easy. This is a rebellion against everything you were taught. But it's the only rebellion that leads to peace. Because when you stop chasing who you should be, you start becoming who you already are. And that man doesn't need applause to sleep at night. So don't run from your discomfort. Don't numb your soul with distraction. Don't sell your truth for attention. Sit with your shadows, talk to your fears, and walk into the fire of your own becoming. That's where the real man is waiting. For you.